We all remember Sesame Street, the happy neighborhood full of all of our best friends and celebrity guest stars. We all had our favorites too. Some of us liked Bert and Ernie. I mean, when are they gonna... Some of us liked Big Bird, but my favorite was the irritable green man that lived in a garbage can and hated hugs. Oscar the Grouch. I know, I'm not like other girls. While you were all learning about the letter of the day, I was watching The Adventures of Elmo in Grouchland, a 1999 masterpiece where Elmo stumbles upon the Trash Queen, played by Vanessa Williams. In a musical number, she explains that garbage is beautiful, and it's all about your point of view. Which is why it's imperative that we discuss trash, junk, garbage, litter, rubbish, and how it doesn't matter so much what you call it, but what you do with it. In 2015, the National Geographic reported that 269,000 tons of debris and counting are floating in our ocean's surface. And I think that's worth at least 10 minutes of your time. So let's learn about the history, the horrors, and the happy sides of our waste. Now, the Sesame Street characters have been our friends for a while, but the trash can has been a longtime friend of ours too. It's been around since before any of us in this room were born, and it's remained a household staple ever since. The company, Trash Cans Unlimited, posted an article in 2016 titled The Remarkable Evolution of Trash and All of Its Dirty Secrets. In it, they paint a picture of what waste management was like as early as the year 200 AD. In early human history, waste was biodegradable. What was edible was given to animals, and what wasn't was put in the ground to decompose. That was all well and good until cities became more populated and people would just throw their garbage out the window and left it on the neighborhood streets to rot. And soon enough, all of the stench and, the Black Plague inspired the Romans to create the first sanitation force, consisting of two guys that collected the garbage in a wagon and took it to a big hole somewhere far away. Sound familiar? Flash forward to 1842. A report in Great Britain links disease to filthy environmental conditions and ushers in what is called the Age of Sanitation. Of course, America doesn't really join in until 22 years later when they post their own study. We were still throwing as much trash into the ocean as we possibly could, but it was a start. Who can take the trash out? Stomp it down for you. Shake the plastic bag and do the twisty thingy too. The garbage man. The garbage man can. Now don't be fooled by Oscar's propaganda. Rubbish isn't as glamorous as it seems. Now, you may be familiar with the famous 1955 Life magazine article titled Throwaway Living, where three children raise their arms in praise of all of the floating garbage that surrounds them. Though uncanny today, Alexandra Boscolo from the University of Michigan states that the message of this piece is clear. By 1955, Americans had entered a new age in product use. Disposable products were the wave of the future. And we still love the efficiency that they create in our lives today. I mean, think about it. If the Pilgrims had the Mayflower stocked up with plastic-wrapped snacks and bottled water, then their voyage would have been much easier. The not-so-great side of that is that their plastic trash would likely still be around today, 4 centuries later. The National Oceanic Atmospheric Association reports that it takes about 450 years for a plastic bottle to biodegrade. And PlasticPollution.org reports that 8 million metric tons of plastic are dumped into the ocean every year. That is millions of tons of garbage that we could be recycling. And I know, it is so hard to visualize the scale of all of this. So I invited a friend to come help us. And everybody say hello to Ray the raccoon. He came all the way from the dump just to sing us a little song. Are you ready, Ray? Sure am. The average person makes 4 pounds of trash, 4 pounds of trash, 4 pounds average person makes 4 pounds of trash nearly every day. And whatever happens to all that trash, all that trash, all that trash, and whatever happens to all that trash, it doesn't just go away. The EPA says most of it's recyclable, recyclable, recyclable. The EPA says most of it's recyclable. But we only recycle about 30% of it because sometimes it doesn't meet the cleanliness standards that some recycling plants require to process it, so they store it in the landfill or in the ocean because for some reason that's still legal. You know, that wasn't nearly as fun or endearing as I thought it would be. But it's all true. According to the New York Times in May of 2018, China, which is where most of our recycling goes to get processed, does not accept dirty recyclables because contamination can ruin an entire batch of recycling. Approximately 25% of all recyclables collected by Waste Management are contaminated to the point that they have to be sent to landfills. That is what happens when we don't sort or prepare our recycling correctly. That means that all of the greasy pizza boxes and unwashed kombucha bottles that you just threw into the recycling bin didn't actually become the cute brown paper notebooks and mason jars that they sell at Target. And if that isn't terrifying enough, let's look at where our junk actually ends up. Our friend Ray loves digging through the trash, but I'll bet you that these people don't. Living in a landfill. A 2017 Independent article tells the story of Amish Das and his family that live in the Baragwan landfill site in Guwahati, India. He lives there with his 3 children, his wife, and the family of his wife's sister in a 1-room shanty in the middle of the dump. He lost his youngest daughter to illness when she was only 2 years old. She was so sick, and there was nothing I could do, he says. Everywhere is dirty. I wish she hadn't died, but sometimes I am happy and thankful that she does not have to know this life. All jokes, songs, and puppets aside, we cannot ignore the painful truth. We are burying people in our garbage. Ted Siegler, a resource economist that has spent nearly 3 decades on waste management in developing nations, has stated that this isn't a problem that we don't know how to fix. Oh, I was supposed to move here. We could ponder for months about how to best fix our rapidly increasing global climate, but this problem is one that everyone in this room can impact now. I was once visited by a wizard that told me how to produce as little waste as possible. No, really. His name is Miles Lewis, and he goes by the Zero Waste Wizard as an advocate for the zero waste lifestyle. He visited my school and blew my mind with a bunch of easy things that we can all do to reduce our waste, like make our own toothpaste, bring our own cups to Starbucks, and make our own cleaning supplies. There's a whole dumpster full of information on how to reduce the trash that we create, and more often than not, it saves us money. I know, we are all such busy people, and sometimes we do end up sadly paying 10 cents for the plastic bags at Ralph's because we forgot our reusable ones at home. But it's worth a shot. A wizard once told me that if enough people bring their own cups to Starbucks, then Starbucks will stop making plastic cups. And it's not magic, it's just supply and demand. I know, Oscar will be sad when the sides of Sesame Street aren't lined with garbage anymore. But the rest of the world will be better for it. And as our favorite Green Grouch once said, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things. It's called garbage can, not garbage cannot.